Hi guys. So I felt like standing up for this one because this is what you think about becomes reality. Okay? You become what you think about. Period. All right. I've tested this out in so many ways. I've literally gone down the rabbit hole of spirituality, law of attraction, law of assumption, like everything scientifically, spiritually, physically, mentally, soully, spirit, all that stuff, right? Let me tell you guys right now. Okay. So, I saw this car that I really liked. And it was a new car, and I saw driving down the street, okay? Because I live downtown, so I walk a lot, okay? So I'm walking down the street, and I see this car. I'm like, oh my God, that's my car. That's my car. And so I just kept telling myself that, like, just randomly because I really liked it. And I literally started obsessing about that car. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked it up. I was like, what model was that? What is it? Da-da-da. I started looking up this car, right? And I was like, but I would want mine to be red, which is a very rare color nowadays. Like, you don't always see red as much. Like, most people go for more, like, darker colors like gray, black, white. And I was like, I want mine to be red. So, mind you, 2 days I was obsessing over this car. And I kept saying it, but it was never in red. Like, I kept saying it in black and white. And I was like, okay, in silver. I was like, all right, well, I just kept imagining, like, oh my God, that's my car. Like, yep. And I want it in red. And I wanted to have this. And I wanted to have that. Like, I was getting very specific, right? I kid you not. 3 days later, that car in red at like 8 o'clock was parked outside of my home. And I look outside my window and I was like, is that my car? Like outside and it's red? And I literally was like, I'm like, oh my God, it is. It is. Like it's right there outside my home, parked right outside my home. I'm like, that's so weird, right? And so I was like, whatever. But I kept thinking about the car because I literally started obsessing about it. I was like, I just like fell in love, right? In love with the car. And then the next night, same time, I look out my window because I look out my window like all the time, just naturally. Like I like my windows. I love my windows actually. And so I'm like looking out my window and I'm like, is it back again? The next night, I'm not kidding you, for a month, this car every single night, the one that I said that I wanted and in red, was parked outside of my home. And he was either parked across the street or like right like on my side of the street. And I was like, no freaking way. And then I kept telling myself that's how close it really is. Like if you want it, it's like right there. Like it's right outside your crib, right? And so anyway, like that happened. That's just one example, okay? So then I started thinking like, wow, I'm like really manifesting this stuff like hardcore. Like I'm a manifester. Like yeah, like you know? And then I tried it again because I was thinking, oh, well, maybe I'm just like psychic, right? Then I went to like the spiritual realm of things, like, oh, I'm just psychic, like I just know what's coming. But I tested it out, okay? So I was walking to Whole Foods to get food, right? Well, obviously. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna test this out. I'm gonna test this out, like literally, like inside my head, I'm like, I'm gonna test this out. I'm like, okay, if I'm psychic, then someone at that street light ahead of me is gonna cross the street wearing a green shirt. And I picked a green shirt for a reason because I was like, I don't even own a green shirt. It's not that common to have a green shirt. So I'm like, if I'm psychic, I'm gonna close my eyes, I'm gonna walk a little bit, I'm gonna wait a couple like seconds, like not even a minute, like seconds. And if someone crosses, because like you're in the city, everything's moving fast, right? I'm like, someone's gonna cross the street with a green shirt. Sure enough, what happened? And it was like a forest green. And I was like, that wasn't the green that I was imagining though. I was imagining like a lighter green. But when he crossed the street with a forest green shirt on. I was like, I'm fucking psychic. I have fucking superpowers. Like, I'm this shit. Like, I got this. Like, and I was thinking I was psychic, but it's not that. Because I went down that whole rabbit hole of spirituality. I've gone through like the law of assumption, the law of attraction, all that shit. It really boils down to what you think about becomes reality. What you think about, you become. Okay? So once I went down the whole spirituality thing, because then I started thinking I was psychic. I'm like, oh my God, it's my intuition. But it's funny because when you listen to like people that are spiritual, they will be like talking about something and then it'll happen. And it's not that they're intuitive or psychic, it's because they're thinking about it. So it's not a superpower, you guys. It's not a fucking superpower. We all have this ability, and it can also be used negatively. Okay, I'll give you an example in a negative way. Okay, so there was some, like, it was like a whole situation. It wasn't just like one person. It was just like me feeling like afraid of something happening. Like I was afraid that something was going to happen, right? And so I kept thinking like, and I had no facts that this was happening or could happen. Like it was just like an emotional thing, like from my past or whatever, right? My thoughts, my past, my programming, right? And so I'm like, oh my God, something, I just have this feeling. And I just kept telling myself, it's a feeling, it's a feeling. I just have this feeling, it's my intuition. But I had no actual like facts to support my feelings. You know what I mean? So I was just going based off of my feelings. Sure enough, nothing was wrong. Like that person was not wrong. Nobody was doing anything weird. Nobody was wrong. It was just because of my negative thinking, I literally created that moment to happen. And it didn't involve anybody else. It just involved me with myself, basically. Like, then I had realized, like, wow, okay, this shit actually works and it actually happens. And then we could get into meditation, right? Like people say, meditate. Your thoughts are not your own. You can clear out your thoughts. You can just let your thoughts pass by like a cloud, Like I've gone through all of that. Like I really have. And when I say I've gone through it, like I actually spend time. Like I don't just like look it up one day and think I know it. No, I spend like a year, like really like learning and diving into it, like getting to know it to see how it like functions in my life, because it's up to you what functions in your life, right? And so like I realized your thoughts are your thoughts, okay? But don't look at that in a negative way where I have to like control my thoughts or just watch them pass by. Use it in a positive way where you can literally think and control your thoughts, right? So why not make them good thoughts? Why not? But it's hard. It's hard because we're human and every single day is different. And every time we wake up, it's different. Emotions are different. Like, okay, you cannot tell me that every single day of your life has been completely different, right? That's why people say focus on the present, because tomorrow, you don't know, yesterday is gone, right? And not only that, but every single day of your life is different. Even if you do the same thing every day, it's still different, right? So you can use your mind and your thoughts to your advantage. Like literally you can make things happen like this. Like if you just obsess, and people say don't obsess, but if you're obsessing about something positive that you love, that, like I said about that car, but the thing is the car disappeared because then I stopped thinking about it, because then I got distracted with other things. You know what I mean? But if I would have just sat there like every day, just keep obsessing about the positivity, obsessing about what you want, obsessing and doing things, that are connected to that, it's going to give you that. Okay. So you don't have to be a spiritual person or a non-spiritual person or however it works for you. I'm just letting you know we all have this ability. All right, you guys, like seriously, try it. Just you become what you think about. You can literally think it and it will show up like right here, like in your hand. And that's like, we've been taught this through phrases, through quotes. Like we know this. So practice this, you guys. It's amazing. But like I said, you have to continuously think of, like literally obsess about it. Like this is mine. Like this is what I'm thinking about. Like this is, and it will show up. It will show up. I promise you guys.